This is a podcast about all things holistic health and self-discovery with me, Ask Elizabeth, counsellor, health advocate and fundraiser. Join me as we get to know these guests and learn about how they implement health, well-being and self-care practices into their lives. Welcome to Unearthing Wellbeing with Ask Elizabeth, where our greatest wealth is health. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of Unearthing Wellbeing. This next guest is an actress and DJ. You may know her from the long-running Australian drama Home and Away. That's right, it's none other than Sarah Roberts. It is fitting as Sarah's character on the show is departing as we launch this episode. So it is really nice to reflect back on her journey, both professionally and personally. I hope you enjoyed the episode, but I do want to warn you that this will both make you laugh out loud and shed a tear. So I will stop there and allow you to take a listen to Sarah Roberts. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Sorry, I don't think my computer was working, so I'm on Jimmy's computer.
No, that's okay. I was like, oh my God, have I got them both on? I love it. Well, thank you, Sarah, for coming on. It's much appreciated. How have you been?
I've actually been really good. Christmas was hard. I was down in Melbourne for Christmas, and it was my first Christmas without my nana because my nana passed away the year just gone. And since my brother passed away, Christmas has always been hard because it's a time when you're supposed to be with family, and he loved Christmas. But after Christmas passed and I came back to Sydney, I just feel really settled and grounded and happy. So I'm going to ride that wave for as long as I can.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I feel really good.
Oh, beautiful. Well, that's really good to hear, especially with everything going on in the world. I think if we're able to look at things from the bright side, may as well do that and just keep riding those waves, like you said.
Yeah, I just try and take it moment by moment, day by day. I feel like you kind of have to at the moment with COVID because everything's just changing so rapidly and the world seems so new at the moment. Do you find? Like it's like 100%. A new world now.
Yeah, I've always been like an organized person, always looking 6 months to a year ahead. I'm planning everything, and just with this, I've learned to just be present and just get away from all those expectations. So you just have to take it day by day. Yeah, but it is what
you have
it is.
There's no other way because you can. Yeah. You plan things and then 6 months later it changes. So, yeah, you're right. It is what it is, and so how we've got to live at the moment.
Yeah, and at least we're healthy and predominantly happy, which is like the main thing too.
Yeah, I think like we said before, as long as you are responsible and look after yourself, that's all you can really do, right?
100%. Yeah. Well, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah Roberts. I'm an actress and a DJ. I have most recently been working on Home and Away, I guess, for the last 3.5 years. I play a character on the show called Willow Harris. She started off as a real badass, and I feel like, she rode into Summer Bay on her motorbike in all her leathers and took her helmet off and whipped her hair around and then punched Justin in the guts and asked him for her money, and now he's my husband. So Justin, for people who don't know, is played by Jimmy Stewart. And we got married, I guess, a year and a bit ago. So now I'm a wife and a stepmom as well. And when I'm not acting, I DJ too. So I play gigs like Ministry of Sound. I've supported, the 90s pop group Aqua.
Oh my God.
Supported them. I know, that was pretty crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and play a lot of corporate events as well. Like I've DJ'd for the opening of Ferrari and stuff like that. So I really love music and acting equally. And years ago, I sing as well. So I recorded some tracks with Eve, the American rapper Eve. She has the paw prints, paw print tattoos. We recorded a song with her called Neon Lights. And that's something that I'd really like to get back into, singing and recording and stuff. I love music.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my God. So you're obviously very creative, and I can vouch for that because I'm a big fan of the show. And your character's just like phenomenal. Full firecracker and just amazing. For those who don't watch the show, tell us a little bit more about your character.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, like I said, Willow started off and you're 100% right. She started off as a firecracker, and she still has elements of that in her now. She has two best friends who are like her family, Colby and Dean, and another character, Bella, who is like her sister, I guess. And she's always telling them what to do. She slaps everyone in the bay. She's a really loyal friend to have on your side, although there was some drama that happened just recently on the show where she had to make a sacrifice, and unfortunately Colby went to jail for that. But in the bigger picture, that was the right thing for her to do. She did it for all the right reasons. But she works at a gym. She started off as a biker chick, and then sort of got a little bit more demure, I guess. But she has been an honor to play for the last 3.5 years. She's so much fun. She's very different to me, although I guess I can be bossy like her and stand up for what I believe in. But it's been great fun getting into all her leathers, and especially when I put her shoes on. They're these high heel boots with chains on them. I definitely feel like her. And yeah, it's been great working on a show. Well, it's like Australia's #1 soap, I think. So it's been great working on a long running show like that. We've been going for 30 years. So
for someone who is an actor / actress, whatever you prefer, how do you go about coming in and out of character? Because some of those scenes are quite emotionally grueling and takes a lot. Well, I assume anyway.
Yeah, it does. Look, I try and make sure that I leave all of that on set. So I have like rituals. They're not really rituals, but for me, they're tools, I guess, that just kind of shed all of that emotion after I've done big emotional scenes like I would have to do on the show. So, I mean, it's probably quite normal for normal people, but I would come home and have a shower and literally wash everything off and wash the day away. And in terms of preparing for those scenes, I've, studied a lot. I guess I like Larry Moss as a teacher and Ivana Chubbuck, and Larry has a technique where you just collect feelings, I guess, and sense memories that you can use as your tools and take out at any time when you need them. So I have to conjure up a lot of emotions, but I try not to. He always talks about not pushing it, and just sort of inviting the emotion in, and then it will hopefully come. And I guess over the past 1.5 years, I've had a lot of I've had to feel a lot of things in my real life, so I have been able to inject all of that into my work.
it's a great way of, I guess, harnessing those feelings and having it as an outlet.
Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? I mean, I guess, yeah, like you're saying, you could relate that to how you're feeling in your normal life, couldn't you? Like, if I'm having a really crappy day, I could, yeah, literally wash it all off in the shower, get into a new outfit that makes me feel nice, maybe put on some makeup or something, and try and restart.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, 100%. And so that's pretty cool. But you also mentioned that you met your now husband on set. How did that all eventuate? Was it love at first sight, or did it blossom over time?
Well, I definitely thought he was hot at first sight.
Love it.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I met him, so I auditioned for 2 other characters before Willow, and one of them was called Scarlett, and she was also Jimmy's love interest. So I got to the final auditions for that and had to do a chemistry test with Jimmy, which is where the producers see if you have sexual chemistry, I guess, and whether or not you'll be good together as acting partners. And so I was in LA at the time, and I looked him up on the internet because Ivana Chubbuck has this technique called sexual chemistry, where you can create sexual chemistry with another actor, hopefully before you're in the room with them. So you just kind of imagine that you're together, and I don't know, imagine kissing or whatever, and then hopefully it creates some chemistry in the room. So I looked him up, and I thought he was really hot. And then I got to meet him and work with him. And the audition scene for Willow was really cool, actually. She got to walk in the room and straddle him, and he was tied up. And I had to ask him for money. And the director came out and said, because usually you go in the room and you talk about the scene first and then you perform it. But the director came out and he said to me, I don't want you to come in the room and talk about the scene at all. I want you to just walk straight into the room as Willow. And I did that and straddled him, and there was all this chemistry. So I guess it wasn't really love at first sight, but we definitely were attracted to each other at first sight.
I love that. And what a great way to actually start a relationship too.
I know, right? But I never would have thought in a million years that we would have married each other.
Yeah.
I didn't think we'd end up together, or it didn't cross my mind. I was attracted to him though.
Yeah. And like you guys did date on the show anyway, so I think it was a lot of people, well, fans I know, who like we speak about the show and they're like, oh my god, they're dating in real life and they're dating on the show, and like people like get really obsessed about that. But
I know.
It's sweet.
Yeah, it is. It's a really beautiful time in my life that I look back on and have giggles about and get excited about still.
Oh, for sure. And now you're obviously living together, and you had the opportunity to get married overseas whilst your brother was still alive.
Yeah.
So how was that experience in Ireland? You looked beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. It was the best day ever. I wouldn't have changed anything for the world. My brother got to walk me down the aisle, so I have that beautiful memory. And it was I just loved it. It was a perfect day for me. We only had 25 guests. It was just our really close family and friends. And we got married in a castle. Yeah, and it was just magical. It was actually the same castle that David Beckham and Posh Spice got married in.
No way. That's sick.
Yeah, so I forced Jimmy to get the same wedding photo as they had. But that's not the reason why we got married there. You know, we wanted to get married in Ireland so my brother could be there because he was unable to fly at the time. And then we just found this beautiful castle. So we thought it's a place where you can't really get married in Australia.
And it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so special. I want to be very delicate in terms of how I ask this next question. And as someone who has also lost loved ones to this egregious disease, you just need to be mindful of it. So first, is it okay for me to ask what I'm going to ask?
Yes, thank you so much for asking and being so respectful.
No, that's okay.
And I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It's life and it's shit, but you know, we learn and we grow from the experiences, and they're always in our hearts. So yeah. So you mentioned that you lost your brother earlier, a few years ago. And recently you did the walk for brain cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So how was that experience? And for people who are going through the same experiences now, what can you leave them with?
Oh gosh, that's a huge question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I try to remember my brother the way he lived, not the way he passed away, because he had such he really lived life, and he was and will continue to be such a massive part of my life. He was like a father to me, and he was my best friend. So I still try to talk to him. I don't know if that sounds woo-woo. Yeah, but you know, I go for runs in the morning because we were quite active together. He would always encourage me to go to the gym and stay fit and healthy because he was like that. He never ever thought that his brain tumor would take him, and we never thought that would happen either. He was so fit and healthy. So he would always wake me up when I went over to Ireland. He would always wake me up at I think it was 5:45 or maybe it was 6:45, something early, something crazy early like that. And I never wanted to get up. But he'd wake me up with a glass of water or sometimes a cup of coffee, and he'd be like, "Come on, soldier," because he used to be in the army. And we'd run down to the gym together. So you know, I try to go for runs in the morning, and I feel like he's there with me. And yesterday, for example, I got to the stairs in Coogee, and they're these massive stairs. And I thought, you know what, I'll do half of them, and I did half of them, and then I got up halfway, and I was about to give up, and I heard him in my head, "Am I allowed to swear on this show?"
Go for it.
And he said, "Come on, softcock." That's kind of like how he would say stuff like that because he used to be in the army, and I was like, oh God. So I did. I finished the stairs, and then I got up to the top, and there's this nice bench that looks out over the whole ocean, and I could hear him again in my head saying, "Just sit down and we'll have a chat." And so I sat. It's making me cry, but I sat on the bench and I just told him how I'd been and what's been happening in my life, and I felt like he was there. So sorry to make you cry as well.
No, that's all right. It's beautiful.
I feel like for me anyway, I just try and keep him living, I guess, because the longer I can remember his qualities and feel like he's still here in whatever sense that is, then he hasn't left. Yeah. I mean, that's how I cope. I think everyone's different, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. And I think I think everyone goes through that roller coaster of emotions and the grief process differently, but I think I'm a little bit like you, where I tried to remember them for what they were and how they lived. So, for instance, my uncle was the first person who passed away who was close to me a few years ago, and within a few days, I decided what I was going to do with that grief, and that was to shave my hair and raise awareness for the cause.
Wow, good on you.
Yeah, thank you. I ended up shaving it all off and raised $15,000 within a month, and I did it in front of the whole community down in Melbourne. I don't know if you know of Preston.
Yeah.
Preston Market. Yeah. So I did it there, and I didn't realize it was going to be a huge turnout. There was about 100 people cheering me on when I was shaving it off. Amazing. I was like, oh my God.
That's so amazing.
And he loved to, thank you so much. Thank you. But he loved to party. And I guess like that was my way of not only sending him off, but leaving that memory with myself and everyone in the family. So, yeah, but as you said, they're always going to be with us. And our family and your family have got a legacy, that his legacy which will live on. So yeah, thank you for telling us a little bit about your story and giving people hope and some guidance in terms of how to cope with their losses.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being so respectful. And it's hard. I feel like everyone's different, and I've never been through anything like this before, so I'm just learning as I go. And these are just things that I discover work for me along the way. And then there are other things that I discover that don't really work. It's all just kind of trial and error, isn't it? And just trying to be brave enough to feel everything.
Yeah.
And like you said, having them live on in your heart, and living the way that they lived, I feel helps as well. Like you said with your uncle, he liked to party. My brother loved to party as well. And I was listening to Let's Get Loud.
I love that song.
the other day, and I was listening to the lyrics, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is exactly how my brother lived. And if I can live like that, then I feel like I would do him proud, because he'd want me to live like that, and I'm sure your uncle would want you to live like that too.
Oh, for sure. And that song is perfect.
I'd never listened to the lyrics like that before. I usually, play it sometimes at parties when I'm DJing because everyone loves it. But I'd never actually listened to the lyrics in terms of like a life mantra. It's pretty good.
When we get older and when we experience things, lyrics take on different meanings. So it's beautiful. And it just goes to show that music and the arts and the creative sector can bring and arouse memories and emotions for you. So
music is great like that. My mum always used to listen to music to kind of shake her moods. I guess like what we were talking about before, shedding emotions. She would always listen to music to alter her emotional states, and I think I've taken that on as well.
Yeah, me too. I love it. And every day that I was at placement during my studies the year before, I'd blast music just to like shake that yuck feeling sometimes that I'd have after working. And it's just amazing how it can transform you.
Oh yeah, it's great for acting as well, like we were talking about before with the emotional scenes, or even like rageful scenes or anger scenes, like listening to something like The Prodigy before a scene, or something that really amps you up and gets it. I feel like music can get you straight into whatever state you need to conjure up.
Yeah, 100%. I never thought of it like that, but it does. Like sometimes when you're in like a shitty mood, I love listening to the script or like the friends, stuff
Right.
like that. And that makes me really sad and stuff. And then you like, nah, I need to get out of that state of mind. So listen to something upbeat like J-Lo or Kylie or something like that. So that's a smart way of using that technique.
Yeah. It's really quick. For me anyway, I find it's really quick. See that straight away.
Yeah, that's cool. And going back to your DJing gigs that you get to do, what would be your must-have tracks on a set for a night?
Oh, well, it depends where I'm playing, but you know what? At most venues or events at the moment, well, actually for many years now, Show Me Love has always worked. Yeah, it's always, I have this edit at the start, I kind of drop it and there's a little bit like, I feel like a few seconds of silence and the crowd always gets really nervous and they're like, oh my gosh, what is this song? And then it drops the dun, 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 that bit, and they're like, yeah, and hands are always in the air.
I love that.
So that's always a good one, and it's like a classic. And then also recently, Sergeant Slick from Melbourne actually has done a really cool version of a really cool remix of Gimme Gimme Gimme, by ABBA.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that one too?
Yeah,
and that always gets people up and dancing, but you just got to be ready. After you play that song, you got to keep the dance floor going because it gets everyone on the dance floor. But then I also like, like 80s remixes, like a Prayer, Madonna, I Want to Dance with Somebody. What else? There's also Rock This Party. I have a really cool remix of Rock This Party. Do you know that song?
Yeah. It's just reminiscing as you're going on. I'm like, yeah.
Probably reminiscing going out too. Everything's so different now because of COVID. I mean, when I DJ at the moment, no one's allowed to dance. You're only allowed to sit in your seat and bop. You get told off if you get up on the dance floor. So, yeah, it's very different. Hopefully it changes this year.
Oh, 100%. I think when we were going through that stage in Melbourne, everyone had left besides our table and like the DJ was still going. So after a few drinks, we're like, stuff it. And we ended up dancing and getting everyone into it. And it got onto social media and everyone's like, where are you? Are you even allowed to do that? I want to be there. I was like, oh my God, this is bad.
Where were you guys?
Just a local bar near my house, like in Preston. I won't name it just in case they get in trouble. But it was so worth it. Like after being in lockdown for so long and being deprived of like those things that you take for granted, I think we'll just like, fuck it.
Yeah, of course. That's what I miss the most. Well, I miss hugging people and having a human connection, and obviously my mum and my sister are in Melbourne. I'm up here in Sydney, so we can't see each other because of the borders. Luckily we got to see each other over Christmas, but I miss that, and I also miss dancing with people. It's so healing as well, dancing, and it goes back like through the generations. People have been dancing since the world was created, really, haven't they? So
100%.
Yeah,
it's very it brings a lot of emotions, and I feel like it releases endorphins when we dance. So
yeah, fingers crossed it can go back to normal this year.
I have faith, and I'm going to put that out to the world that we're going to have a better 2021 anyway.
It can't be any worse than 2020, right?
Oh my God, hopefully not. And yeah, so you've got the DJing gig, you're acting as well. How do you juggle all those roles and avoid burnout?
Burnout happens with me. I experienced it end of towards the end of last year, around Halloween, I got really anxious, which I think, I mean, you might be able to shed some more light on this than I can, but I feel like I got anxious because I don't think I was listening to my body and my head. And so that was my body saying, Sarah, you're anxious. You need to stop. Something's going on and you need to deal with everything. So I sort of learnt along the way just to check in with myself. Don't take too much on. It's okay to say no to things. I guess in my industry or with my work ethic, I've been so used to saying yes, yes, yes to everything and to just keep going and working all the time because you don't know when your next job is going to come. But with me, what I learned last year was if I keep doing that, I burn out and I have panic attacks. So I've learnt to, I guess, take care of myself and be respectful of myself, and I guess almost treat myself like, listen to my inner child, I guess, and treat myself how I would treat Scout, my stepdaughter, I guess, just look after myself. Yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful way of like looking at it. Treat yourself how you treat your younger self. That's amazing. And I think that's important in terms of how we live our lives. And if we take anything from last year, it's that we need to put that at the forefront of our everyday living. And if we're not at our optimal, we can't help or do anything for others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly what I try and teach Scout is that if our well is empty, then there's no way we can help other people. We have to fill the well up and make sure that's like always replenished. Because like you said, if you're not in a good state, you're definitely not in a state to help other people. No point even trying, right?
Yeah, I love that analogy. Better than the cup anyway.
I like thinking of myself as a well, and sometimes you just get empty and you burn out and you just need to fill it up with things that you love again.
Yeah, 100%. And like, obviously burning out, it's totally normal and we all go through it. So like for people who are listening, don't like be very hard on yourself if you are continuously going through these stages in life. We just have to always learn, and as Sarah said, like we're always adapting to like new challenges that we face, so we have to like mold that to what's going on for us, and it's not going to be always the same thing that helps during those stages.
Yeah, I totally agree. I experienced like the worst panic attacks I think I'd ever had last year, and they were so debilitating. My eyes actually went cross-eyed. This is when I was on set trying to work. They sent me home, and everything, the whole studio was spinning and I was really hot and I couldn't get out of that state, and I was beating myself up about being in that state. And I think what I learned from that is that that's okay, and it's your body telling you that you're not okay and you need to take a break and stop being so hard on yourself. So yeah, like you said, I think it's really important not to be hard on yourself if you do start shutting down or if you do experience these feelings. Often it's nothing to be ashamed about.
Yeah. And in our lives, like, because we're always on the go and everything's full speed ahead, sometimes we forget to harness into our bodies to see like what's going on for us to kind of avoid burnout. So when it happens, it just happens like a volcano erupting kind of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
And with that, how do you, like, what are your tips and what do you utilize for self-care?
I really like tea. I like sitting on my balcony and watching the ocean, and like I said before, chatting to my brother in a way that could be some sort of form of meditation, I guess. I'm not very good at sitting down and like strictly meditating, but I really do like having quiet time, especially when I've just come off set and I've been talking all day and my brain's been going 100 miles an hour. I really like just having a nice long bath, I guess, with a candle, listening to some really chilled music, like some classical music, or I really like French music at the moment. Eating nice, healthy food. But at the same time, my New Year's resolution this year is to not put any pressure on. It's just to take all the pressure off. So I've, I guess, been chasing happiness. So if things make me feel happy, then I will do that. Or I'll if I have got a choice or a decision to make, I'll just check in with myself and say, well, which one of them will make you feel happy? And I will do whichever one makes me feel happy. So if I want to have a glass of wine, I'm going to have a glass of wine. Or if I want to eat that burger, I'm going to eat a burger. That's how I've sort of decided to start this year. We'll see what happens with that. But
I love that.
yeah, and like I said before, trying to look after myself like I would if I was a little girl or if I was Scout. I'm trying to monitor the inner dialogue and the inner speak and talk that goes on in my head, and make sure that it's kind and nurturing and not mean and aggressive and puts me down in any way.
Yeah, and I think that's important.
It's hard. It's easy done.
Yeah, it is definitely easier said than done. But it's also important to note, because like I'm single at the moment and I don't have kids, so I don't have to worry about that as much. But when I notice that when I am around like my cousins' kids and stuff, I need to make sure what I'm saying and what I'm doing is positive. It doesn't you don't have to hide, I guess, all the nitty gritty stuff, but you want to lead a good example for them. So like you were saying with Scout, you're a good role model and you're able to dictate like what you want to put out into the world. So then she's able to do that for herself too.
Yeah. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Wasn't that what Gandhi said?
I think so.
Yeah. I remember seeing it on a yoga studio once and I really liked it.
Yeah. That's perfect. And as you said, everyone has a different way of utilizing self-care. And for you, that's filling your cup or filling your well so you're happy and you're able to lead a positive and a changing life for yourself. So, it's really nice.
Thank you. I've also realized too that if you're not happy and if you're feeling sad, that's okay, and just to write that out or sit in it and to not feel ashamed of it. And that's something that Jimmy and I have gotten really good at doing over the past year, just sitting with each other when we're not feeling great, because everything doesn't have to be happy and bright and bubbly and positive all the time. I guess if you're brave enough to sit through that, then you can feel everything and the emotions flow, and I think you feel more full, I guess.
Definitely. And if you're always just positive and stuff, you're clearly hiding and pushing down that negative and all that sadness. You need to ride those waves. So when you're feeling like that, recognize that you're feeling like that and do something to help change it. But it's okay to sit in it for a while. That's normal. Like, that's a part of how we grow. And I think from those hard times and those hardships, it makes us who we are as a person, and it kind of directs where we want to be in life. And
I totally agree.
So you're obviously near Coogee Beach. Is it Coogee Beach?
Coogee, yeah.
Coogee Beach.
I used to call it that when I first moved up here as well. It's a Victorian.
Clearly, exactly. Clearly, I'm not from Sydney.
And it is spelt like that, Coogee. So
Yeah. And you're working at Palm Beach as well as like on set. Where is your happy place?
The first thing that came to my mind then was on my balcony, looking out over the ocean. Yeah, it's just I like being outdoors. I'm a Sagittarian, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I feel really, I guess, grounded when I'm outdoors and being active, whether that's like walking or hiking or running. I guess that's when I feel my happiest. Well, you know, when I get to spend time with people that I care about, that's when I'm happiest as well. We don't even have to be talking about anything, but if I'm just, you know, sitting next to my mum, or wish I could still sit next to Carl, but you know, when I'm talking to Carl in my head, or I can feel his presence, you know, with me, or sitting next to my sister, or just hanging out with Jimmy. Like, I love doing stuff like that as well. Or I guess I just really love baths too. So I could spend like just hours in the bath, just thinking or reading. Yeah.
That's nice. I have to agree with that. I'm craving the beach and I need to get there before I start working. So I've like set aside time to go down to Safety Beach. I know what you mean about like just being out in nature, and I think that's a really great way to reset for me anyway. So yeah. And the baths are amazing too.
Do you like baths as well? I just find them really relaxing.
100%.
I've been locked out of my Instagram. Like, my bank account got hacked into. So I don't know if you know this, but I deleted my Instagram off my phone. And then since my bank account since I've been cut out of my bank account, you can't actually download apps on your phone unless you have a payment set up. And I don't. So I've been forced out of Instagram, which has been actually really great for me, because I've been going for walks and I have been more present. And I've been noticing, like, this past week since I've been locked out of Instagram, not that Instagram's my whole world, but I feel like you can get a bit distracted by it. But since I've been locked out of it, I've been going for walks and noticing all these beautiful flowers and trees, and really getting in touch with nature and just noticing how beautiful everything is. And that really calms my heart as well and makes me feel really grounded. And I've been starting my mornings off like that by going for a run and just noticing everything around me, and it's been a really great way to set up the day.
Yeah, that's amazing. When we are present, we notice things more and not obsess over it, but recognize the beauty in like the simple things too.
Yeah.
So if we're not on our phone going like, oh my God, I'm recording, I'm walking around, blah, blah, blah.
I know.
We're able to actually be present and take a look around our surroundings.
Yeah. And when you're not on your phone, you realize how many people are on their phones. Like, go for a walk or a run and you'll just see everyone is just like, they're like robots. Just down
glued to it.
Or not experiencing things just for the sake of experiencing them. Like, having to record, like you said before, having to record them to put them on Instagram to show people what they've been doing or how they've been living. And it's really cool and refreshing just to live for the sake of living and not having to show anyone how you're living. Like, I've noticed I've started sending pictures to like friends or family, just a quick text message if I go past something and think of them, I'll take a picture and send it through to them instead of putting it on Instagram and showing the whole world. I don't know, I feel like you can, I've noticed I've reached out more to friends and family rather than being so insular, I guess.
Yeah. And it's great way, like we're learning anyway. So, and
Yeah.
a lot of people haven't reached that awakening kind of thing.
We'll see how long it lasts. Like, I'll probably get my cards in the mail and join Instagram again, and I'll be back on there. But yeah, it's been an interesting learning curve, I guess.
100%. And don't get me wrong, like I was on Instagram just before I got onto the podcast, and I messaged you, and I'm like, looking forward to the podcast.
I'm sorry, I won't reply. That's
no, but it makes sense now. Even if we do have our social media platforms and we're utilizing them, we also need to take time out to be present and enjoy our surroundings and not always be glued to our phones.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a take home.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And as the title of my podcast is called Unearthing Wellbeing, what's your 3 tips for those going through the same things or interested in what you're telling us and what we're speaking about?
Okay, that's a hard question. I think for me, what I've learned and what I'm trying to live by this year is, yes, to take the pressure off, to not have any expectations, I guess, but to still strive for things, to be kind to myself, like I spoke about feeling well and talking, having, really nice inner dialogue, like I'm talking to my inner child. Did I say respecting myself? Have I said that yet?
No, but that's a good one.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do that as well, respect myself and check in with myself and see what I actually want to do, instead of, sacrificing things for other people, I guess. Living by my standards.
I love
whatever they may be. They change all the time.
Oh, of course. That's normal. I think as we grow and as we learn and as we experience, everything's going to change. And what we thought that we wouldn't do at one stage in our lives, we end up doing and realizing, that's not so bad after all. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for those tips. It's much appreciated. And thank you so much for coming on. I am so grateful.
Thanks for having me. It's been so nice chatting. You're really easy to talk to and you've been so respectful. So I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. It was so easy talking to Sarah. It felt like I'd known her for years. Her humility, liveliness, and how she wears her heart on her sleeve was admirable. If you want to continue to follow Sarah's journey, simply follow her on Instagram at _SarahRoberts_. To ensure Ask Elizabeth and Unearthing Wellbeing continues to grow, please subscribe and rate the podcast. Feel free to also share and tag us on your socials. I hope you have a lovely day. Be safe and be kind. Take care.